Have you ever wondered how God feels about death? I know how I feel about it. I'm slightly less excited than some of the early church martyrs seem to have been. But I don't know that until preparing for this homily I had ever come to ponder how God feels about death. And we see it in that shortest verse of the Bible. Jesus wept. Confronted by the grief. Just think about the context for a second, right? He's confronted by the grief of his friends, the grief of those who are with them, sad for them, the loss of his friend, and yet he's already been attacked twice as well. Both Martha and Mary say the exact same thing to him. Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. And Jesus knows what happens next. He knows that literally 5 lines down the page, he's going to raise Lazarus back to life. And still, despite all of that, when he sees the tomb and he sees the pain of these people he loves, he breaks down and cries. And it's not like he shed a tear. It's full on what the kids today call ugly cry. He's deeply moved, deeply perturbed. He is saddened. And even though he's about to bring him back to life, he cries. It tells us something about the fact that this experience, what the grief that Martha and Mary are going through, the loss of Lazarus in this way, was never part of his plan. Not for them, not for you, not for me. That is not what God made us for. It's the consequence of sin, and it's just, and he doesn't remove it. But that is not what he made us for. He made us for life. He made us to be with him forever. This scene is a powerful testimony about how God feels about death, how he understands it. Then, coupled with that is my own little favorite verse a little bit earlier, where doubting Thomas is a little more excited before things are put to the test. On the way to Jerusalem, having debated amongst themselves, they said, well, Jesus, if we do this, they're going to try and kill you. And Jesus says, I don't care, I'm going. And you think the disciples, because we know how this ends, right? Everybody except John abandons him. Mary, his mother, and John, the disciple he loves, are there at the foot of the cross. And everybody else is scattered. But they're only scattered by the harshness and the brutality that's there. It's not a lack of love and desire, because when they're safe far away, and they could just say, we're good here. We're fine in Galilee. My family's here. We could just stay, Jesus. When Jesus says, no, I'm going, they say, I'm going with you. And when they're weak, or when they're debating, Thomas speaks up, says, let us go and die with him. Talk about a lesson for Lent. What's the purpose of all our fasting? What's the purpose of sacrifice? To leave vice and sin behind so that we are not afraid to die. I realize some of you are a little bit older than me, and I have once or twice made comments about that I'm still reminded of, because my mathematical certainty around certain things has spewed numbers and facts from my mouth without considering how they might be received. However, as Lent draws to a close, it is a great thing to ponder. Are you ready to die? The sacrifice, the penance, the things we do in Lent are meant to leave behind everything that should make us afraid of death. When we're stuck in sin and we don't want to uproot it, we don't want to let go of it, we should be afraid to die. When we draw close to the Lord of life, we follow, like think about Thomas, right? He says, I want to be with Jesus. When we leave behind the things that hold us back, and we genuinely draw close to him and follow him, then we shouldn't be afraid to die. We shouldn't be afraid to meet him. We should want to be close to him, with him, in this world and in the next. As Lent draws to a close, two great things to ponder. Right, your own attitude, can I adopt that same appreciation that God the Father has? That the sadness, the sorrow, the difficulty of death is not what we were made for. And that it's okay when that tragedy strikes. It's okay as we suffer to cry. Sometimes it's just overwhelming. Jesus himself, confronted with this, said, you know what, the only thing I can do is cry. Even though I know I'm going to overturn all of this. It is sad. I'm just going to cry. That's okay. But out of that, what next? What do we do? How do we change? There's 2 long weeks left in Lent. Mostly 2 weeks. It's a lot of time to grow in holiness. Maybe you shelved because you've been bad at whatever you said you were going to do at the start of Lent. Let's double down. Let's embrace it again if it's really good for us. Knowing that these final weeks of Lent, next weekend, we're going to read the whole Passion where Jesus suffers and dies for us. Then Easter Sunday, we want to be ready to celebrate the resurrection where he conquers death. And in between there, between now and then, what can we do to leave behind, to shed, to fight against vice, sin, anything that separates us from God? So we can have that same heart the disciples did, that same faith that Martha and Mary did, that where Jesus is, death has no power. That we want to follow Jesus through death to life. Through death, through the end of this life with no fear, to be with his Father in heaven forever.